Hey guys, it's Jackstown and welcome back to another video. So the NFL season is ramping up as we're about a third of the way through the season, and if you're a big stat head like me, you'll probably realize how many great records there are in the NFL. So I thought we could dive into some of those incredible, nearly impossible to break records in football. But before we get into the video, if you're a big sports fan, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because this channel is definitely for you. So without further ado, here are 5 unbreakable NFL records. Starting off this list of unbreakable records is for the most consecutive starts at quarterback belonging to Brett Favre. From 1992 to 2010, between his time with the Packers, Jets, and Vikings, Favre started 297 consecutive games at quarterback, which is essentially his entire career. To break this down, a quarterback would have to first play 18 seasons, which is no easy feat at all, then just never miss a single game, which in today's era of increased injuries and teams being more cautious with their players' health is almost impossible. The second longest streak is actually a current streak, with Philip Rivers starting 226 consecutive games from 2006 until the making of this video. But he has about 4.5 more years to go, and considering he is already 38 and clearly past his prime, the Colts will almost certainly have moved on if he hasn't already by then. Brett, don't worry, your streak is safe. Next up, we have most scrimmage touchdowns in a single season belonging to LaDainian Tomlinson. In his historic 2006 MVP season, LT was a man amongst boys, scoring 31 total touchdowns, 28 of them rushing and 3 receiving. Running backs, that's how you win an MVP. The closest behind LT is Shaun Alexander, who was close with 28 total touchdowns in 2005. But in the last decade, the closest was Todd Gurley with 21 in 2018. In today's era, with more pass-heavy teams and less workhorse running backs, I don't think anyone's going to reach the Hall of Famer's epic mark. The next unbreakable record on this list is most career punt return touchdowns belonging to Devin Hester. Devin Hester is obviously best known for undoubtedly being the best return man the game has ever seen, and his 14 career punts taken to the house proves it. Eric Metcalf, who retired in 2002 with 10, which was a record at the time, is the closest to Hester. Recently, Darren Sproles retired with 6, and he was universally known for his punt return abilities. Tyreek Hill may have an outside chance as he has 4 already, but he, unlike Hester, is a star receiver as well, and the Chiefs don't want him to always be their main returner, as Mecole Hardman actually has been taking a lot of punts recently. Also, it goes back to the era, and in the last few years, due to injury concerns, teams are not returning punts and kickoffs nearly as often. Yeah, I think Hester's record is one of a kind. The 4th unbreakable record we have on this list is the most receiving touchdowns in a single season, which belongs to Randy Moss. It's no secret that Randy Moss is an all-time great. I mean, just look at what he did in 2007 when he had a whopping 23 receiving touchdowns. What? Only Jerry Rice had 20 or more receiving scores in a season other than Randy Moss, with 22 in 1987, but he's the greatest wide receiver ever. The most in the 21st century after Moss is 17, which Gronk did in 2011, and Randy Moss did 2 other times. For this crazy record to be broken, a receiver would have to play all 16 games, which is tough nowadays, and average 1.5 touchdowns a game. 1.5. Even a touchdown every week won't be enough. To put the impossibility of breaking this record into perspective, Kenny Golladay led the league in receiving scores last season with 11. Not even half of Moss's record. It's just not happening, guys. And the final unbreakable record on this list may possibly be the most unbreakable record of all, which is the most career receiving yards, belonging to the great Jerry Rice. This is why Jerry Rice is the obvious GOAT of wide receivers. The dude had 22,895 career receiving yards. That is over 5,000 yards ahead of second place, which belongs to the great Larry Fitzgerald, who in his 17th season just has 5 years of 1,000-ish yards to go after this season. Considering he is already 37 and hasn't reached 1,000 yards since 2017, he's just not going to get there, and no one ever will. You would need 22 full seasons averaging 1,040 yards, or 15 seasons averaging 1,527 yards per season, just to put it into perspective. Most receivers would be lucky even playing 15 years, let alone being that elite for 15 years. Yup, this record is on an unreachable plateau and is the definition of unbreakable. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and you're a big sports fan. I would really appreciate and love all your support. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you all later.